soon as this wants to load. What's going on, everybody? Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. For those that don't know, I'm Sam from SRP Exotics. We are joined tonight by my partner Pete from Extreme Jungle, and we're stoked to have Ed and Sydney from Constrictors Northwest and mainly Moriella come on and run this back with us as a run it back episode. We've had them on last year. They've helped us build up Moriella Militia, and I greatly appreciate all the love and support. And they're filled with knowledge, and it's awesome, and it's an honor to get them back on and to talk Moriella with them. Hopefully everybody can hear us good. Hopefully everybody can hear us. Got some comedy. And wait for thank you. And then we got another one coming in. So, what's up, Ish? What's going on, IQ Exotics? We got Craig, Snakes and Grins, tapping in. What's going on, brother? Noel from Omega Serpents. Noel, so let me tell you guys, all right? Noel helped me out with, I was trying to figure out how to put the link of this, right? So that we can click onto it from our stories. And I saw her doing it, so I had to reach out to her. And I was like, yo, how do you do this? And it's sad because I'm young and I should know this shit. But unfortunately, I had to ask her, and she helped me out. So shout out to Noel.
It is definitely a learning curve with everything. Oh, man.
Oh, because without a doubt, you know, we've been wanting to turn it over to YouTube and, you know, grow and you know, see what happens. So this is a learning experience out there right now. You know, hopefully we knock at you guys and hopefully everybody can hear us good. So without further ado, Ed and Sid, Constrictors Northwest, mainly Moriella. What have you guys been up to?
Working,
yeah,
pretty much.
Staying busy. Definitely, we've had a few clutches and stuff, but we've had, you know, we also have like an entire farm here, so it's not just the snakes. We have dogs and chickens, ducks,
new puppies,
yeah. So it's been a balancing act between, you know, full-time jobs and snakes right now. So we haven't been nearly as active as we were earlier in the year, but we're definitely still keeping at it.
You guys got more clutches than last year, or about the same amount?
We let some of our females kind of take a break.
Yeah,
from breeding.
Less clutches this year. Kind of we're rolling it back a little bit, letting some females take a break, you know.
It's much better for them that way. We'll have some new clutches that we've never had before, but we had one repeat pairing from last year. Out of all the clutches that we have right now.
Yeah, just one.
Yeah.
What pair was that?
The double hat.
What's that?
Double hat snows.
Ooh.
We didn't do any double head snows.
No, the POS double heads.
Oh,
we paired them, but we didn't get anything from them this year.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so we're like, yeah, well, it'll be another season, another 2.
Yeah, one of them swole up. Looks like she's gonna drop, and then didn't. So
kind of happens with breeding.
Yeah.
What was the pairing? What was the pairing that you guys produced almost an all white carpet on?
That was double head snow crossed with double head snow. Did the same thing this year on them, and the female just didn't drop. So she swole up, and we had some other stuff going on. And I was kind of floating the male back and forth between 2 girls, and
Yeah, it just didn't take this year like it
Yep.
did last year. Last year we had both of them take, but we only had that one that hatched out and it didn't make it. So that was, yeah, that was the only time we thought, hey, maybe. But we do still have 2 albinos from that clutch, and one is definitely lighter than the other. So we're hoping that's het or xanthic.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's looking promising though in terms of from last year. Very, very high, nice contrast. Way more contrast than what you would see in a lot of the albinos that we've been seeing
Yeah,
lately.
they're totally different looking. There's so much IJ in them, they look like just a straight up IJ albino. So believe it or not, it's quite different looking. So.
And what's the percentage on those for IJ blood?
Percentage wise, it's like 62.5%. But
okay,
all the adults have been bred. Like all my albinos, I always pick out the most IJ looking ones. So, you know, they come out how they come
you
out.
love your IJs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much
Now-
how we ended up with the het IJ, the het albinos that look like IJs from last year's 2 clutches. We still have 3 holdback het albinos from that,
They're
or
pos
het.
double head snows.
Pos double
Yeah.
head snows, yeah. From that clutch, just because they're so, and they look so much like IJs, but
They look like just the most smoking hot, like hypo looking IJs. And I was like, I don't even know where that came from, but
they're nasty.
there they are. So yeah, they're mean as hell.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And you guys have some other exciting crop going on too this year that we'll talk about a little bit. One that I've been trying to do, and I know I converted Pete over and Pete's now all on board for it.
Hey, we need more people like that.
So well, since we're on that topic right now, right? What do you guys feel, for the carpet python market, and even for the morphs that are coming out and breeding, carpets into bredli, getting the albino bredli going, just even for the ghost gene, the moonglow, those, what do you think that's gonna, do for the carpet market? Do you think you're gonna see more people geared towards that way?
I mean, I don't know, honestly. I really, to be 100% with you, I don't really care. I'm making them for myself. So if people don't like them, I'll just have a lot of cool looking snakes, I guess, and be like, okay, cool,
Yeah, that's really what we
Right.
keep for is to have the snakes that we want to keep and not for other people. If they like the projects that we have, and
great, yeah,
that's awesome. But realistically,
Yeah.
it's not something we're gonna be like, hey.
I'm not trying to make things for other people. We breed stuff that we want to breed for our own personal shits and giggles. So
I definitely, that's awesome, and I'm seeing more and more people not really geared towards it, but it seems like people are starting to go towards working with what they actually want for the money. I'm starting to see people cut back a little bit and focus on certain projects that they've been wanting to focus on. So I'm just curious to see how the market's going to go for more going forward.
I think people kind of get into a rat race deal on it, and that kind of buzz kills the whole deal for me, honestly. Trying to push everything and go fast and all that is just not, I don't have that kind of patience for that. So
Right. I think just refining what we want to make, really nice looking snakes, very healthy snakes. We don't don't overfeed our snakes to get them to breeding size. We really take our time with our animals. We put a lot of work into them, and we definitely don't push on selling our snakes quickly. So a lot of our snakes we keep for
we got whole clutches that we hatched out. We haven't listed anything. I'm not really planning to list anything. We're just keeping the whole damn clutch. So on multiple clutches,
which was the Sumatrans, a lot of the ivories,
whole clutches of Womas.
Whole clutches of
keep
Womas.
all of them. So
yeah, because we have. I mean, I think we have 7 holdback Womas from maybe a clutch of 9.
Right. I let 2 go. Yeah.
We have an entire clutch of Sumatrans that we didn't let go. Those were the tuxedo Sumatrans, because they're all chrome head tuxedos.
Yeah.
I mean, the ivories are smoking hot. We really aren't, we're like, if someone sees them and they're interested, maybe one or two.
There's a couple of ivories on good old Morph Market, but I'm not going to give them away. So if people want them, I'll be happy to keep them.
Yeah. And then we just sold a bunch of albinos, but that was not something we were like really pushing either. It's just someone wanted, to have albinos from us, and we're like, here's some pictures and whatever you want. And it just kind of worked out that way, but we weren't.
Yeah, they bought a clutch worth of albinos just because they wanted to be able to like pick the best and sell the rest, cherry pick. And I was like, whatever you want to do, it's a good idea.
Which we pretty much cherry pick anyway.
Yeah.
We have the opportunity
we get that
to do
opportunity all the time. I'm just like, let's not sell anything for a minute so we can see how they start to develop, Especially on jungle. Jungle, you can see
a question that popped up.
What isn't, but you got to have that eye,
Yeah. Well, how long have you guys been keeping and working with carpet pythons for?
Combined, it's almost 35 years combined.
Experience with them?
I mean, I've personally I've owned carpet pythons.
I got carpets back in 2006, maybe.
And maybe I'm going to say 13, 14 for me, 2014.
Yeah, and I had every other kind of python before that, and stacks and stacks of boa constrictors at the time.
Which we don't keep. We have one, which is a Barranquilla boa, but that's it. And that was mine.
Her personal rescue boa.
My personal rescue boa.
Don't bring any boas over here.
Yeah, no,
don't get me started on a boa project, because I'll have like 30 of them.
So I gave this Barranquilla boa to a friend and ended up getting it back because of the situation. I was like, that's fine, because it's a really sweet boa, but we don't keep boas. I mean, we've had rescue ball pythons, which we still have one rescue. Well, we have a couple ball pythons, but one is a rescue ball python.
All ball pythons are rescues.
Yeah, all ball pythons are rescues. Yeah. So, yeah, but we very specifically are more into our Womas, Sumatrans, blood pythons,
right?
And carpet pythons, obviously, which we have a lot of variation of carpet pythons.
You guys got some time in this winning carpet pythons, and you're looking for when you go to hatch those out?
I think I cut about half of that.
Yeah, kind of like cut out halfway through.
I said, so you definitely have some time in the seat when the carpet pythons, especially when it comes to hatching. So you guys have that eye for what to look for when something hatches out to like better and further your chicks that you guys are shooting for.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
I mean, we're all trying to go in a direction with it. So
yeah, I look for,
yeah, absolutely.
I'm very big into the high yellow jungles. Of course, that's you have to, even if you have a very brightly colored jungle carpet python paired with another one that's also very bright, that clutch might not be what you think it'll turn out to be. It's not guaranteed, which is why we hold on to, a lot of our jungles. And then obviously what we're looking for in any of our albinos or any of our high percentage IJ crosses is that contrast, high color, lavender coloration, patterns, stripes.
She picks out different stuff than I do though also. So
Yeah.
we don't just like all pick out the same ones. So some of the stuff she likes, I'm like, go ahead and keep that, I guess.
That's why you have so many holdbacks.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah, 'cause I mean, that POS double het albino that I really like. That's really, it looks IJ. I'm like, I want to keep her, and he's like, well, go ahead. I don't, it's POS double het.
Yeah.
I'm like, no,
I'm
it's
like-
really sweet looking. So it's going to be an awesome adult. She's really almost bright yellow like a jungle, but with the kind of brownish whitewash saddles of an IJ.
Very weird looking.
Yeah. So she kept all of her color. She's getting more colorful as she ages. I just like her. I mean, you like what you like, and
I'm in there like, I'm taking this albino and this one here, and she's like, oh, some possible hets, and she's all right.
like what you like.
So, Ish from IQ Exotics asks, do you notice a higher mortality rate with added genes stacked onto them?
No, I would say no.
Random. Yeah.
And it depends on what you're talking about. Some genes have baggage, I mean, they're like
Zebras, jaguars,
jags,
granites.
granites, all that kind of stuff. That, comes with health baggage. We really don't work with a lot of that. So, and if we do, it's in a kind of a very sparing number. So,
Yeah. I mean, I
But
don't know. We have
as long as the traits are good and there's not like some kind of health baggage that comes along with the gene, they're just like any other snake. So,
but again, you can have mortality and even healthy looking snakes.
yeah, I mean, they're animals. So,
Yeah, we had a really tough loss this year with a jungle female that was 2 years old, and she had a ruptured artery. We did a necropsy on her, and she was healthy, great shape, absolutely beautiful, and that was really, really tough loss for us. But it happens. You get the animals tested, you make sure they didn't have anything, maybe that they weren't carriers of anything, asymptomatic. You have to do everything you can to make sure that you don't have anything in your collection that could be bad. But at the same time, you can have that snake that's
they don't all live to be 20 years
perfect,
old.
yeah.
So, I mean, that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
and people just don't talk
People
about
don't talk
that.
about it, honestly, but
No.
one minute you got a snake that looks perfect and is feeding and flawless, and the next thing it's like dead, and you're like, oh, it had a calcified urate or something weird, just randomly, bam. What are you gonna do? Nothing. So
I've had that with the green trees, and I know Pete had a big loss with one of his. That was a freak accident. Pete, was that male?
That was my pure German line jungle that I got from Star Python. He just developed a swollen heart, and
right.
I knew it was just a matter of time. I mean, he was eating, he was normal, but it just that bulge in his chest, I knew something was up. And he's in one of the pictures in the new Carpet Python book But yeah, it was just I've had him for like 4.5 years. I got him as a hatchling. And one day I opened up the tub and I'm like, whoa, what the hell happened? And he went on for like maybe about a good 6 months. And then one day I opened the tub and he was just gone.
Yep. And it happens so fast with snakes,
Yeah,
especially
I mean,
because
they're not showing any signs at all. You
Nope.
know, especially if like it's such a shocker when they're like feeding so well and like, you open a tub or something and they're like, whoa, we're coming at you. And then next day, they're dead,
Yeah, I mean, this girl that we had, she never missed a meal. She, great lineage.
Just a gorgeous snake, just spectacular
yeah, and she was I mean, I love that snake, and to find her like that, it just crushed me. Obviously, we have animals that are pushing 16. We have we have older snakes, but
I mean, I'm been in this for pretty close to 30 years now, so I've had tons of fucking snakes die, just tons and tons of them die over that period of time. All kinds of stuff, complications from being gravid or you name it. Blood vessels in snakes can burst very easily, just with whatever happens on a regular day-to-day stuff that they do or breeding. So had snakes that fell off a perch.
Now,
were paralyzed from mid-body back.
Now, I haven't experienced it yet when it came to like a gravid female and a prolapse. Pete, your big girl, Electra, her prolapse, was that from breeding?
I believe it was. It happened maybe about a few months after the first time it happened, a few months after she laid a clutch for me. And when it happened, I immediately brought her to the vet and she had emergency surgery. And the vet told me that she probably would never be able to breed again and that the chances of her prolapsing again are very high. And she went a good year and a half, with no prolapse. And I think a lot of it was due to me feeding her very small meals frequently, so she was able to digest them, rapidly and not, have to worry about having to pass big urates or any poop like that. And I remember I went away for like a week and I came back and she had prolapse, like this massive prolapse, and it was already all dried up. And I pretty much called the vet and told him what was going on, and he was like, "It's not really much we could do at this point."
Right.
And I had to put her down. I don't even think the surgery would have saved her. And that was my big loss. She was beautiful zebra female. She laid 19 eggs for me. 3 of them went bad. 16 hatched. I mean, she was great, and it was just a big loss for me.
yeah, and I
Now,
don't
Ed
think
and Sid,
that. So
have you guys came across that issue as well too? Like, or not issue, but experienced that as well either?
Not really.
no,
I
we haven't
mean,
had prolapses.
knock on wood. I don't
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah. Everybody knock on wood right now.
Yeah,
So
seriously.
I got a question for you guys. So like now when I breed my snakes and after they lay clutches, I think the mistake I made was offering her big meals immediately. And I don't think her body was capable of digesting it right after laying a clutch. And I think that's what caused her to back up, and that's what caused her to prolapse. So my question to you is, after your females lay, do you offer them smaller meals for a couple of months and then boost them back up? Like, what do you guys do?
I ease them back into it. Usually, if they drop a clutch, I'll pull them out, give them a soak right out of the gate, and then put the eggs away, do all that, clean out the enclosure, take them back out, put them back in there, and then I just leave them alone. I don't mess with them. I don't try and feed them next week or the week after. Sometimes it'll be like a month. I'm not in a rush to try and get weight back on them. They normally wouldn't have that. So, not to say that feeding them a big meal is wrong. I can't tell you that. Uh, but I mean, who knows?
Yeah, it's completely possible. I mean, we fed one of our females about 2 weeks, but we started her off with chicken wings. We just bumped her up back to chicken legs, but we've done that gradually, and she really is, and she's in great shape now. We don't see any reason to feed her more until we're going to wait a few months and
Right.
kind of get her back into it. But we've never had snakes that didn't recoup from, laying a clutch, and then, even a really, really big clutch that maybe was big for her. And then, getting her back into the shape that she needed to be.
Yeah, I don't try and rush anything on it,
You mentioned chicken wings.
As much as I would want to make things happen quicker, it just doesn't. Even if I try and make it happen quicker, so I don't bother with that at this point.
Yeah, I don't think it even pays off to even do that.
Right.
I think you run some more complications.
When they're ready, that's what I figure. So just like, people ask what age is breeding age and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, whenever they're ready. It's not, it's the old, like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So
Right.
Yeah, no, of course. Now, you guys were mentioning chicken legs and chicken wings. Now, do you guys offer that just for your breeding females, or do you guys offer it across the board?
we feed them all kinds of stuff. So
Yeah.
chicken legs, chicken wings, rats, mice, whatever, they eat like a full gamut of food. So
Yeah, and they pretty much, we get all of our snakes onto, even all the Sumatrans will eat chicken wingtips.
I gotta just butcher up little pieces and just like.
Yeah, all of our snakes, we offer them a variety, even if they're, anything from a hatchling to a full-size adult. We'll cut off little wingtips, like tiny ones, feed it to the hatchlings. If they take it, great, because we know that snake will take whatever we give it.
Yeah, that just gets them to a point where they just eat whatever you offer, and they're less picky.
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting as hell. I'd never thought about that.
A lot of people are kind of weirded out about the whole, like, chicken leg, chicken wing, like, salmonella and all that, but snakes don't react to that like humans do, just like dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs can eat raw meat and all that kind of stuff as well, and they're fine. So
see, I was big on feeding strictly rats until Pete started telling me, yo, start throwing the bread like quail. And actually, the two that are up here on breeding loan from Pete, he said he fed them quail. So it kind of makes me wonder to start exploring and venturing out more to offer, different types of meals for these animals. And I wonder if there's any benefit to it, like for recovery, for how the eggs are,
back in the day, I knew people from different zoos and stuff like that, like reptile keepers that worked within the reptile facilities of zoos, Sacramento, whatnot. They fed animals that they had in there for 15 years, roadkill squirrels and all kinds of stuff. So,
not to say that we do that.
I don't do that.
We don't do that.
You had me thinking for a second. I was like, there's a lot of squirrels around where I am.
Yeah, Pete, you do have a lot of squirrels by you, bro.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm only kidding.
See a squirrel on the road, just speed up.
So
got him.
Free food.
So let's talk about a little bit about lineage and line breeding and stuff like that. So like earlier we were, mentioning about like issues, right, with some of these babies as adults, zebras, jaguars and stuff like that. Obviously jags are, Nero. But when do we start looking to outcross projects so it's not constantly inbreeding, line breeding, however you want to word it?
I mean, I try and outcross stuff as much as humanly possible. You know, you can inbreed or line breed a couple times, and that's okay. Probably happens naturally quite frequently. But at the same time, you're singling out not only the genes that you want, but then genes that maybe you don't want. So, as even if there's not genes that are like going to make the animal have poor health or something like that, it's kind of like you're just rubbing the shine off of a new car at some point. They look all right and they seem okay, but they're just not as snappy on feeding and that kind of stuff. So,
which you do see a lot. You know, you can find really, really stubborn jungles, really stubborn. They
Right.
don't eat very well. It's just, I mean, we have a
they're
male.
gorgeous as could be, but then they're just
Yeah.
a total pain in the ass.
Yeah, exactly. It's
I have
just,
plenty of those.
Well, it's all limited genes.
yeah, yeah. And I just, you know, happen to like those jungles, but yeah, they do. They can be.
I mean,
very
we don't
stubborn.
have a lot more fresh blood to work with on a lot of jungle projects. And then if you're trying to keep certain lineages going, what are you going to do with that without outcrossing? So,
Yeah, you can only go so far.
about the clutch we're just talking about,
Headhunter, hare, Hummel,
headhunter, hare, and what else?
Shuet.
Shuet, all in the clutch.
It's like,
I'm like, that's a tongue twister right there. So, but they're gonna be
Yeah.
smoking hot jungles.
and they're, you know, 12 beautiful, just clean eggs. None of them look. We had no slugs in that clutch.
And
it's just
from jungles
awesome.
that are like easy to keep, not
Yeah.
like, you know, super
They're not a PIA to feed.
prissy, you know, prima donna feeders, none of that kind of stuff. They're just like, damn.
Yeah. Which who knows if we might have like a Michael Beach.
Fingers crossed that the babies are just as good as the parents, you know.
Yeah, right. Exactly. We just have, this year for jungles, we're hopeful. We're not positive that maybe a Michael Beach female took, with a headhunter male. But other than that, we just have an ivory clutch and the
Ivory,
Hummel,
75% ivory,
headhunter.
25% Vanna Vetner. Jungles. There's like another random. I got like a one clutch that's just got one egg in it.
Yeah, it's just
tub with one egg in
a
there.
striped xanthic clutch, like pure IJ xanthic clutch
Yeah, I
that
got
just has one
pure
egg.
IJ from IJ cross IJ, so I know it's going to be an xanthic.
Right. Yeah.
I still need to come through on my word for you guys and get an xanthic from you guys. Bad shit's just been tight.
One cooking in the incubator.
Just one.
Limited supply.
And it's gonna be a stripe too.
Hmm?
Damn it!
What's that?
And it's gonna be a stripe too.
Yeah, potentially because the
yeah, I got double stripes on
the
adults. So.
Well, we just have a total of 3.
It was the female's first clutch, and she had. What do we have? 3, and then there was like a
3.
couple. It was like
they were
clutch
suspicious.
of like 6.
Not good.
And some of them were duds, and then there was a couple like half dud, half good-looking eggs. They were like, just throw it in the incubator. We'll see what happens, and they went bad. So
yeah. Although we do have a out of the ivory clutch, maybe like a half slug looking kind of iffy egg, and we're just like, it's fine. It still has,
if they go bad, we'll
and
toss them out. But I've had some eggs that just look awful, like a huge half nipple egg hatch out and be like, that's a smoking hot baby, Good thing I didn't toss that.
Always the smoking hot babies that come out of that clutch. Those clutches too, or those eggs, because I'm like, oh man, we're pretty happy that we didn't get rid of that one. And we're like,
Right.
oh, what does that look like? Oh, that's sweet, high
Oh,
contrast.
we had a clutch this season that looked like perfect, good eggs. The whole clutch looked like healthy eggs, and I candled them.
Yeah.
Not a single vein in any of these eggs. They look like pearly white, perfect eggs. Not one vein in there, and I was like, "What? What's going on here?"
But it was our
So-
first year. It was actually from the female that I purchased from him in 2020, which is how we met. Was
Right.
this albino? And I'm like, I don't know if it's good or bad. Like, I mean, it's not good either way. But I'm like, this is probably a bad sign. No, I'm just kidding. He's looking at me like, ah,
Seriously.
no.
Bye.
Did you ever reimburse her for that purchase?
Well, I think I paid him like $2,000 before we actually
Oh, yeah, she
started
had to put her
talking.
money in.
Yeah, it's
I
like
don't come for free.
yeah, I had a bloodline, a pure exanthic IJ, a jungle, a albino.
She was a really good
python.
customer.
I was a very good customer. Yeah, I think I purchased like 5 snakes from him before he started giving them to me, and I was like, oh, okay.
That's awesome. Now you guys added a good amount of animals too, just before the winter hit, right? To diversify your bredli, and jungles, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Ralph.
I don't even remember. We
Polinsky.
have so many different stuff, so many different animals that we.
Yeah, we got like Ralph, Red Light from Ralph, as well as rough scale pythons.
Yep, got some rough scales.
We got some animals from Martin
Rosemond.
Yep. But that was like last year. So we have quite a few animals from him. We also got a striped
Bredli, Fudo.
Fudo line
Bob
bredli.
Fudo.
Yeah.
Straight up like old school. Well, she's old female even, so.
Yeah, she's I think from 2009
Yeah.
female, but she's sweet. She's a pretty girl.
How many snakes do
Now,
you guys got over
with
there?
the bredli?
No idea.
No,
A lot.
we're actually probably down to like 110 is
You
my
think?
guess. Yes, that's a pretty healthy guess. We
Holy-
sold off hatchlings. We sold off some adults this past year. We've lost some animals, not many, but they were mostly like hatchlings. We
Couple,
lost like
I mean, it
3
happens.
hatchlings, and yeah, so we're probably down to 110, especially because we haven't been pairing a lot of snakes lately, and just keeping a lot of holdbacks to see what before we pair any
We're
more.
kind of moving into a different category with some of the projects. So there's going to be some restructuring happening here. So
Well, let's talk about the one project because I've been bothering Ed for years and been like, "Yo, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?" Let's talk about bredli. And
I've been trying to get those to breed for 4 or 5 years. I don't know. It's been way too long, and I just kept going every single year. I'm like, okay, I'm wasting another albino breeding with a bredli here,
But yeah, about a dozen beautiful pearly white eggs this season. All really nice.
Well, I already told Pete if you guys let any go, me and him are going in on a pair from you guys.
Sweet.
Yeah, they're gonna be really nice.
From my original hypo Afores mail that I got from Ralph Polinsky. I'm not sure what year that was.
He's tiny male too.
Yeah, he's not
He's
huge.
nothing compared to our either of our 2 big females that we have.
No, he's a little dude, but he breeds.
Yeah.
I was breeding him to a female albino for a couple years in a row, and she's driving me nuts. She swells up. I'm like, oh, she's gonna drop a huge clutch. and reabsorbs all the time. So I'm like,
Now, when they reabsorb, do they still have a prelay shed?
huh?
When they reabsorb, do they still have a prelay shed?
They have all kinds of weird sheds when they reabsorb because they're like hormones are like all over the board. So she is like a sensitive female to whatever, and she got moved.
The
Actually,
first year.
twice.
Twice, yeah.
She got moved 2 years in a row, and then still swole up. And I thought, oh, there it is, and reabsorbed. And I was like, nope, there it is not. So
Well, you've been trying at this project for a minimum 3 years, right? Or at least
I'm thinking 5.
5.
Yeah.
With persistence.
Now, now you let. How did you go about it last year? Did you use an albino male to a bredli female? I remember you saying a while back you've always used the bredli male to albino female, and you had a slug like she had slugs for you, right?
Yeah, I had one slug clutch.
That was the season before last, maybe.
Maybe the season before last.
Yeah, I think so.
This year, I just put all kinds of albinos and bredli together, and I was like, you know,
one of them's gonna
BGS,
take.
One's got to take.
So,
Yeah, we haven't even checked the stripe girl who we had a male with.
Yeah, we got
she
another
just shed, and she looks
that
kind
big
of
striped
big, but I
Fudo
just haven't
girl was
pulled her
with
out.
my original first produced albino male. And
They were locked
that
up all the
snake, well,
time.
he'll breed anything. So he'd breed a woma or a ball python, or he doesn't care what it is. So
Yeah, he's not picky.
yeah.
I just hope he didn't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping he did get with the striped girl, but well, we'll see. I guess it's kind of like the so.
So if we get another clutch, that'd be actually super nice because I'd like to have that stripe line in there to boot for future cross pairings. You know,
Right.
The first lineage.
And I don't know anybody else. I don't know anybody else who's really truly working on the albino bredli project or have been successful in getting it done.
Oh, there's people out there that have. I already know several people that have already dropped them, and they're just.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say who it is because they're not talking about it. So.
Right.
No, that's fine.
But you see a lot of jag, pet albinos, bredlis, crosses.
There's other good ones out there. This my clutch here will not be the first thing dropping. So other people have already got them on the ground and are already playing with them.
That's what I've been saying for years with Pete is that somebody's got to already have them on the ground. They're just not saying anything until they actually hit the visual.
Exactly. That's what's happening. And I respect the people and holding back what they have. And
I mean, people have told me like, "Oh yeah, I already got those, man." And I'm like, "Oh, do you?"
So let me get a pair.
No, they won't release anything. Like these are people I've known for many years, and they're like, "No, I'm keeping all of them." So.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
people that I know too. It's like, hey, you can't know. not this time around.
But they got different stuff going on. So down the road, we'll end up trading or doing something because we all have our own twist on it.
And we're gonna have those high percentage IJs if we continue to cross the way that we do.
That's right. We're taking the albinos, like we're splitting off and doing like high percentage IJ and then high percentage bredli albino stuff. Probably won't work a whole lot with the old lines of albino other than, using them for propagating where we're headed with it.
Yeah.
Right. Now, man, even with getting those albino albino breadlight down on the ground, there's so much that you can. There's just so much there that like has not been touched yet. You know, even with just the morphs, like I'm waiting to see like a true ghost morph in the States. I know some people are just labeling them as caramel xanthic, but you know, which is what a ghost morph is for those that are watching that don't know. But it's just I'm very excited for what's to come in the years for carpet morphs. And I know Pete, Pete, I'm not knocking you, bro, but I know you're very big on your peer stuff, on your lineage stuff, and then he met this asshole, and then he was like, okay, yeah, that stuff's cool. I think it helps. It'll help diversify everything, and I think it'll also give better clutches, because now we're outcrossing this stuff and trying to work it into different lines. And Pete and I have been on that conversation for, I don't know, what, 2 years, 3 years now, Pete?
At least, yeah.
To where it's like, why are these carpet clutches and even some of these breadlight clutches are just getting either smaller or the eggs are getting weaker? How much line breeding can really be done? So like I think the carpet morphs and the breadlight morphs not being touched yet just open up the doors for everything and for everyone, really.
Well, as far as clutch size and numbers and all that goes, I would say the biggest clutches come from mutts or wild caught. I had Irian Jayas that were, fresh off the boat, imports back in the day, that were actually huge. Like the Irian Jayas I have now are like little. They're little guys, but my original ones were massive. I mean, they were like 13 years old, but massive for an IJ. And they were kicking out clutches of like 30 plus.
Which
out
is
of an Irian Jaya. So
wow,
and
that's
that's
a lot.
very similar to like
IJ plus eggs.
Is a 9, So.
Yeah, now. But I mean, even my I have a diamond jungle jag that was produced from a
huge.
diamond cross to a diamond jungle jag. Got a diamond jungle jag, and she's 9 feet long. She laid a parthenogenic clutch of 32 fertile eggs.
Wow.
And I didn't even notice. I didn't know she was gonna drop a clutch. She just dropped it, and her wrapped around, clutch of eggs. It was just she's a big girl and healthy. I mean, she's at that time, I think she was 13 years old or 12 years old, and just laid a massive clutch of parthenogenic.
Mm-hmm.
It was I didn't expect it because she hadn't been paired with a male for 7 or 8 years.
Same note. That giant IJ female I was just talking about, like she kicked out a couple clutches year after year in a row, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give her a year off, and she just had a clutch anyways with no males. So I was like, I guess I won't give you a year off. So
some females just
I'm waiting to see that happen for. I'm waiting to see that happen to Pete because he pairs up. He finally got 2 females to take. But one of these years, Pete, that's gonna happen to you, bro.
Seriously, they'll just be laying a clutch. You won't even you'll be like, what? Expect that at all. But
yeah, and they can retain sperm too. So
yeah. So for the 6-7 years, that I had without pairing,
I think that one was truly a parthenogenic clutch,
which would not have been, none of them hatched out. I was not in the position to have, to hatch these eggs out, even though, Ed was right down the road at that point. But I didn't expect it. I didn't have an incubator. I was going to let her maternally incubate, and she did, and then ended up dumping water everywhere and just. So we didn't have any of that clutch. But if it had actually been parthenogenic, you would have had chimeras in that. because I'm, you know, the
It would have
jag,
been just the
jag
female's
gene,
genes crossed with her own genes. So
which we didn't, you know,
Mhm.
that you don't want to propagate. And
it's a whole science thing going on right there on a parthenogenic clutch with a, you know, a morph trait in there.
codominant mutation that also
Yeah.
has, you know, she doesn't have neuro at all. She's
Mhm.
absolutely beautiful. But again, you know, she is jag. So that codominant
Yeah.
mutation just wreck an entire clutch. You know, we would never condone anything like that.
Do you guys
So
think at some point? Do you guys think at some point? I don't have a Jag. Pete's got a Jag. I know. Obviously, you guys have a Jag, right?
we have a
Um,
couple.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
Pete's really dealt with a lot of the neuro issues too much. But do you guys think that eventually, at some point, not breed the neuro out of the animal, but do you think if we keep increasing, jungle blood, like it can kind of dwindle down a little bit?
It's totally random.
It is random. It's the amount of reduced patterning on the animal, or it appears to be that way because I have some heavily patterned jags that almost look like they could pass as, you know, a jungle jag cross,
Mhm.
and they either show zero neuro or very little, kind of like Left, my big girl. But then you have animals like Kevin, and he has very reduced patterning. Apparently, he came from a
He's gorgeous,
he's
but he's just goofy as could be.
psychotic exotics animal. Happened. My tattoo artist said, you know, hey, look, I have this animal. I've tried to get rid of him, but ultimately, I'm going to euthanize him because he won't eat for me. He came to me small. And he's just not, you know, he's totally spiraled out of control. It's not good. So I took him home with me from Massachusetts and got him to eat. He was not eating frozen thawed animals at all. He was eating live, or he was eating really, really small, like hopper kind of size animals. And
As an adult.
as an adult. And
Yeah.
Wow.
he since then he does show neuro, especially when feeding, but otherwise we leave him alone. He used to sleep upside down where his keeper, you know, thought he was dead because he would sleep completely up, like on his back. Now he just goes into his hide and he's overall normal except for when we're feeding him, which it takes patience, but I don't have to assist feed him like I used to when I first got him about 2 years ago now. And he's gotten a lot healthier, bigger, and overall a lot less stressed because we've provided that environment to him where his temperature isn't too high. He has a hide. And the only stress or excitement he's feeling is when he's getting fed. So we really just don't handle him.
On the note of the breeding the neuro out of it, that's not going to happen. And that where we're going is with the more reduced, like the better looking jags seem to be more neuro more of the time.
Yeah.
I bred back, I don't know how long ago it was now.
14,
when
13.
When caramels were brand new, like I got like one of the first ones, you know.
Yeah.
Anyways,
And they were probably going for a lot more money.
Yeah, it cost a lot of money for a male caramel back then, which is funny now because they're like $4 or something. I have no idea how much they cost even.
Yeah.
Got that snake from Mutton, and he's like, "You're not going to cross it, are you?" I was like, "Of course I am. You know I'm going to cross it." So I bred that to a Irian Jag cross that I had back then, and got babies that looked like the most smoking hot super caramel Jags right from the get. So, and this is what turned me off of Jags. The more smoking hot they were, the more goofy they were, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this one's awesome looking. I'm like, but it's just goofy as could be. So,
and you have to think about that codominant mutation. They tend to have a smaller lung. So
you
they're
gotta
already
baby them.
they're already compromised as it is.
Yeah.
You can't feed them the meals that they would otherwise be able to eat, the size of the meal.
They'll up and die if you feed them a big meal.
Yeah.
They just don't
Really?
have the lung capacity.
Yep.
And
wow,
which is
I didn't know that.
You figure the super form of it,
chimera.
the leucistic, whatever you want to call it. Chimera would be like one of them was like partially.
Yeah, well, they're still the fatal.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're het for no lungs. It's a visual het for no lungs, which is why the leucistic it might hatch out if you're lucky, and then when it has to breathe air, it can't. So.
Right.
So
right now,
that gene is not helping their breathing abilities.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a big old belly full of rat is not going to help that either.
Right. Now, Pete, how's your, because Pete's jungle jag, I haven't really heard anything of that. How's yours doing? And I mean, what do you guys offer for like setups for like jags? Like, do you just clutter the hell out of their stuff? Like, again, you two and Pete have the experience with jags. I don't. What are you guys doing for your setups for them?
No purchase.
Dark tub, hide box.
Yeah.
Water.
Yeah.
Basic,
very simple, but something that they can.
They can hide behind the hide box. They can be on top of the hide box or in the hide box.
We don't really have windows on any of our tubs for any of our jags except for my big diamond jungle jag who had that, she's a high visual kind of jungle, diamond jungle, I guess, because she doesn't jungle. She has a lot of patterning for a jag, but she's definitely jag. We have her in a big animal plastics enclosure, but besides that, minimal.
I'd say
nothing that they can fall off of, nothing that's going to stress them out, easy access to water, minimal handling, smaller meals, cooler temperatures. We do a lot to kind of reduce that. We have, I think, a total of four jags in our collection. Which is all me. I have gammas, Neon Ocelot from Martin Rosemond. I have Kevin. I have, we have Leth and Alistair, who is also from Martin Rosemond.
She names her snakes.
I name my snakes.
So cute.
I name mine too, but my daughter helps me with it. So
yeah,
mine are all named like
Wafuku.
O2 F47,
OG, female.
Yeah.
Saf.
Yeah. Sometimes I get a name because the code.
Which is Wafuku.
One of them is a Woma female, and her code, I call her Wafuku because her code kind of spells Wafuku, and it just sounds funny. So.
How are you guys setting up your egg boxes when you set them up in the incubator?
Coarse perlite, just in a regular tub. They're like old school Rubbermaid tubs with like latching tops on there. I don't do anything too special. Right in the perlite, coarse perlite, deep substrate. That's about it. I tried all kinds of different stuff, the light diffuser and different methods. and ruined my clutches every single time I tried something new. And I was like, don't reinvent the wheel when you don't need to.
Yeah,
So-
no,
Yeah,
it just
Pete-
proves that we have so many healthy eggs in the incubator right now, and we're not seeing any of them go bad besides the ones that we suspected would go bad.
Looked like they were going to go bad from the get go,
Yeah.
So
Well, that's what Pete used to kill. Well, not kill, but he used to want to drive up here and slap the shit out of me and be like, "Why are you setting up your chondro eggs on water substrate?" Because that's what everybody was doing. So I figured I'd try it. What's that?
I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
Thank
why I
you,
wanted to
Aaron.
bring up the whole incubation thing right now, because it's that time of year for everybody to start, dropping some eggs. So, hopefully with your guys' insight on how you guys set yours up, can shed some light for how other people should be setting up their egg boxes, because you guys year after year have been doing great with hatches. Yeah, you have your minor mishaps, but these are animals we're working with. It's not guaranteed all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, nobody really talks about their mishaps because they're not happy about it, obviously.
Yeah.
So, but it happens all the time.
Right.
So
It does, yeah, and
we just have a lot of snakes. So there's shit hits the fan on some stuff, and you're like, oh, I've had clutches of womas, and I'm like, space checking on them, and they got wet. Woma eggs are extremely sensitive to moisture. So
dripping down
couple
the
of
side
drips.
from the top.
come off the top on the Woma eggs, they're done. They're toss them.
Man,
Yeah,
that's
see.
a Serpentine said that the jungle jag is in a 4x2x4 Exoterra. Lots of large perches and large hides. Does great.
Yeah,
Damn,
and
Eesh.
I think the reason why, he had a bad experience with, was it the jag that fell off the perch?
No, that was the caramel.
Oh, that was caramel. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
actually,
okay.
I had jags that were like showed no signs of neuro their whole life, and then just at some random point, they were just neuro as could be. Went from 0
Wow.
to 100, just right out of the blue.
And that's not to say that you can't keep your jags in an enclosure that's big with perches and everything.
Might
But
work out.
with the level of neuro that Kevin has, it
Basically
was
set
not
up like
doing him
handicap
well.
snake. So
It was not doing him any justice to put him in that, because anyone walking by, this is what he was living in an open enclosure setup at his old place. It wasn't doing him any justice to put him into something that was open like that, because he was exhibiting signs of neuro that were so extreme that he wasn't eating. It was becoming unhealthy. He wasn't drinking. He was flipping upside down on his back.
stress.
It was extremely what we perceive as stress to him, because he only reacts that way when we open his enclosure up or in feeding mode, which would be excitement, drives that neuro. And we're trying to get him into, we're trying to keep him in a healthy situation for him.
Yeah.
And for our other two jags that do exhibit neuro, is we're trying to minimize the amount of
Stress.
and activity around them and everything else. Kudos to anybody who does keep those, jags and perches and everything, and they can have a beautiful quality of life. But for the animals that we keep and don't breed, it's not ideal for them. And I don't think, in our own opinion, it would be conducive to what we're trying to do for them.
I went through a similar experience. I have a gamma also, very reduced pattern, And when I got him, I had him in a 6-quart tub, and he gained a good amount of size. So I moved him up into a bigger tub. And the minute I did that, all his neuro started coming out. And for the 6 months that I had him, see nothing. He ate fine. He was active. I was even able to take him out and handle him and not have any issues whatsoever. But the minute I moved him into a bigger tub, and I just had a water bowl and a hide for him in there, but it was a big space for him, bigger space.
Right.
Mhm.
Immediately, just like a switch went off. And I was like stunned. I was like, oh my God, this animal was with me for this many months. And now I move him into a bigger tub because he's growing. And now he's, like you said, flipping upside down and doing all weird things. And it was just like, I almost felt bad because I felt like that I did that to the animal, but I know that wasn't the case.
It's a trigger. It's a different trigger for every animal. So you can have a jag. Again, it can have a clutch. It can become neuro. You can have, this. You can move the snake.
Right.
You can feed the snake something different. You can maybe turn up the heat a little bit. There's a trigger.
Hot summer
And
day,
it's just-
any of that,
And that's why, a lot of people.
And unfortunately, they don't come back out of it at some point.
No, they
just,
don't.
They just stay that way. So
And people are like, wow, those are such beautiful snakes. But at the same time, you do have to, that is a serious issue. I mean, to the point where we have a snake that's not eating. Because of what we changed when we brought him home, what we did for him, he's eating now and he looks great. But we had to make that change.
might bite you every now and again.
He bit me. Yeah, he did bite me pretty good the other week. But there are changes that you have to make for that animal. And obviously, if you can put it in something that is more naturalistic, and whatever, purchase and
Great.
awesome. But our circumstances just don't allow us to do that for the jags that we
specific
have.
snake. Yeah.
Obviously we have some beautiful, naturalistic enclosures. Those are for our jungles and we do have the diamond jungle jag. We have bredli and
Right.
Animals that just aren't stressed out by the activity of us walking by, and it's almost like an interaction for them every time we walk by. We wouldn't want that for our specific jag
as much
situation.
as we all like to look at our snakes, they probably don't like looking at us.
Yeah,
Unless we're feeding them.
Right.
Exactly.
That's the only time that they want to see you, really.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I take a mouse out
like
right
you
now.
Guys, well, that's like you guys know. I moved all my animals up to well, that's like you guys know. All three of you know, and some of the people tuned in. I moved all my carpets and bredli up to 116 quart tubs, and these are only 2-year-old, 3-year-old animals. But I've given them the shelving option, the perching option. Like, it's amazing to see. Like, Ed, your albino female. Like, that's all that girl does is either perch or she's on the shelf. That's it.
Right.
So it's cool to be able to see.
If they're given the opportunity.
Yeah.
Before I moved over to Maine over here, I was building plastic reptile cages. So I had just like stacks of like full background with perches and exhibit-like cages all over. And my albinos just lived on perches. They didn't even come off those things unless they were gravid or just ate a huge meal, So they just sat up there. They thought something was going to run by at any minute, and they were going to nail it off that perch.
Yeah, it's really cool to exhibit that, and that's. I would love to get a jag, but I don't know how you guys deal with the jag issues. I can't.
I do. Yeah, I do. I've had jags for one of my first carpet pythons was my 9-foot long female, and she was my first jag. Well, then I ended up an Alistair for Martin Rosemond. He's a Posset Granite. He's fine. And then ended up with Kevin, and he's not fine. And the Neon Ocelot, he's okay. Although we call him Little Kevin every once in a while. He's not as bad. Kevin is the worst I've ever seen. I've never seen a jag that bad.
You know, I was watching a video, and it was Kevin McCurley, and I think he was talking about spider ball pythons, and everyone, like, they were all pitching him shit about breeding spider ball pythons still, and so he's like, you know, it's a pet, you know.
Yeah.
So that doesn't have to live in the wild. It doesn't have to go out and hunt. It's just like chilling. It's got everything coming right to it.
Yeah, I think which is the only reason why we.
So as long as people are aware that, you know, they could exhibit these neurological issues and might need a little extra support, then you want that, get it.
Yeah, which is kind of, I mean, I don't think, I mean, not many people would have put up with the patience that I had for Kevin when I first got him. And that's the name he came with, but we
got some backwards letters written on his tub.
We do, because he's so and it took so much work. I mean, it was just day in, day out, just trying to see what was best for him and trying to get him to eating slightly bigger meals, you know, and moving through, like, you know, not, you know, feeding fresh killed instead of live, and then proceeding with that, you know, sending messages to the guy saying, hey, look, I got Kevin to eat his first meal after, you know, a month. And, you know, it was exciting to see him gain progress, but I can't say he wouldn't be even a pet for, you know,
right.
You know, people are like, oh, they're my family members. Well, they are. You know, we take care of them. We put a lot of work into them. He's a lot of work. He is definitely, you know, that's special circumstance where I can't imagine many other people.
Come feeding day, I'm like, you're up on him.
Yeah, yeah, because I'm like, oh, gotta go back. Gotta go back in the room.
Like picking it up and going back and trying again and again and again. And
yeah, sometimes it takes 4 or 5 times before I can get him to eat. He's always eager to eat, but it's like
he doesn't know how to do it. You know,
he doesn't. He has to get it the right way, and I know exactly what way he has to get it. But does he strike too soon? Is he striking, you know, and wrapping up? And he's the tightest constrictor. I mean, like, he wraps around my arm, or he just has the tightest grip. I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to feed you, and you know, clean out your enclosure. You know, you take out a snake hook, and he just like makes his way for your arm and just wraps around it like in a death grip.
Yeah.
So he, you know, it's a lot of effort to take care of him, but I wouldn't change it. He's an awesome animal.
Whatever happened with the albino bredli stuff you're working on? Anything?
So no, my albino Darwin, I think he's just too young. I mean, he's going to be 3 years old. I figured screw it, because he was producing sperm plugs. Let me throw him in and see what happens. They were cuddling, and it looked like there was a few times to where he was trying, but she just wasn't receptive. And you know, I also think, I don't know, I could have been reading him wrong, but he got the job done. And right now that female is Pete's female, and I got her and his male up here on breeding loan. So Pete and our plan was throw the albino in with her, see what happens. If nothing really comes about, still throw the male bredli in, because they both are het stripe and Posset stonewash. So at least we'll know who the daddy is on this clutch, you know. They've been coloring up pretty good, you know. I don't know what's going to hit, but I'm thinking, honestly, I think next year going forward, I'm probably going to cycle the albino Darwin and the bredli female a bit differently than what I did this year, because I put the albino male in as I was warming the bredli female up. Personally, I think I'm going to try cooling them together and see how that takes.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much. We just let it cool naturally
Yep.
with like ambient temperatures
Yeah, we're in
in the
Maine, so
room. It's
we have no choice.
Yeah.
It's colder out sooner or later.
Even
so
if we
just-
have-
when
I
that
mean-
starts happening, it gets cooler in the snake room.
we have heat
Right.
going in the snake room to keep the ambient temperature, you know.
Oh, but it
Up,
still doesn't
but it
even
still
matter. I
drops.
mean, you're in New York, right?
Yeah.
It
Upstate.
gets cold there too. So yeah.
So that's pretty much how
We've
we
been
cycle
having
to work.
very mild winters, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong, I could still drop the bread light down to 60 degrees, 50 degrees, no problem. It's definitely something I'm going back to the drawing board on because I want to make it happen. Eventually would like to come up with a different line so that we all can work together on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, let's put it in perspective. I think we had negative 40-degree wind chills one night.
Yeah.
It was cold. I'm like, okay, no, we really
Nah,
actually
you
have
guys-
to pay attention to the chickens.
Pipes
pay attention
froze,
to
all
the
that fun stuff.
rabbits. We had heat going on everywhere around this
Everywhere,
house,
yeah.
and it was still
Nice.
cold. I mean, it was that was horrible.
Extremely
I've lived in
expensive
Maine my
power
whole
bills
life,
and
and
fuel bills.
but
Yeah,
hey,
that's
man,
fun.
yeah, you guys can keep all that cold weather up there. That's too much.
yeah, it's only for
Like I just went to
for, like,
Alaska.
but
Our power bill
Well, that's like
for running
I
the room is ridiculous.
it's like $600 a month.
now are you guys using
That's
heat
every-
tape or heat panels?
Both,
Both, yeah,
not in the same.
No.
We had both. Mostly heat tape,
mostly heat tape, yeah,
and then there's room
Nice.
heat also. So
ambient room heat, yeah.
I just bought
That's
a dozen
Yeah, a dozen
a
thermostats.
dozen double probe thermostats. All the guys in Australia are using that Inkbird.
Inkbird, yeah.
Yeah. So I figured I'd give it a
yeah.
We have thermostats and we have
Johnson controls.
Yeah, we have some Inkbird already, but
Inkbird is cheap and Inkbird gets the job done. I have two Inkbirds and I love them.
before Australia uses those things. I was like, let's give it a shot.
They're awesome. I haven't had an issue with mine.
The ones we just got have double probes and
Okay.
Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. I
They
got
can
the
check
single.
Samsung phone.
not control them,
That-
but just
Yeah.
Right. So we're gonna start winding down a little bit. There is one thing I did want to talk about before we did get off. First things first, anybody who's tuned in tonight, thank you again for tuning in to the first Moriello Militia on YouTube. It was a pleasure to have my good friends Ed and Sydney on. This has been great. Thank you guys so much for coming on and just hanging out and talking.
Thanks for having
This
us
is-
on, man.
yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Of course, man. Love having you guys on. I love talking about the morphs, and you guys are very passionate, and it's what's great with the hobby is that you have keepers like yourselves to where, like we go back to the beginning. You guys are working with what you want to work with, which is what it should be about.
Right.
So anybody who's tuned in right now, if you got any questions, drop your questions on. Again, this is our first YouTube live. We're working on getting it onto a podcast platform as well. One thing I just want to mention before we do close out tonight, for everybody who knows what's going on in the hobby, US Arc, and it can't be preached enough, but US Arc 100% needs our help and our support as a whole in the hobby. We all know what's going on down in Florida, and it's a shame, especially seeing US Arc Florida fighting against FWC. It's a shame. So if you're not, although if you're tuning into this live, you already should be. But if you're not, go become a member to USARK. And if you have, extra, if you're making a sale, we got breeding season, eggs getting laid. When you hatch those eggs out, if you got a couple extra bucks, yeah, toss them over to USARK because they need it. They fight for our rights.
And we will, on that note, we will also be having limited amount of T-shirts, and where 75% of proceeds will go to USARK, or if someone wants to make a donation of whatever amount to get a T-shirt, but it is a limited amount, so we are kind of making a minimum. Will go to USARK. So we have those T-shirts. We just have to actually make it happen.
Sign me up for one of those shirts, 100%, you guys.
Definitely.
Me too.
On that.
Awesome. We're glitching out right now, which I don't understand why, because I'm sitting next to my router.
Yeah. Technology.
Right. Pete, you got anything you want to add on to this?
No, just thank you very much, guys, for coming on, man. It's been great. Always love talking snakes with you guys.
Yep.
It's really awesome. We're very grateful for this opportunity, and definitely looking forward to see more of this.
Thank you guys for the support and getting us here, because you guys have definitely helped us out big time, with being from the start of it and just supporting us, and this is what it's about, us coming together as a, in the hobby and just moving on with everything, getting more information out there, getting points of views out, and hopefully get people to get Mozzarella, add more into their collection. Craig said put him down. I'm putting it up right now. Craig wants a tee from you guys.
Thank
you.
Definitely. So like send me the size that everybody needs a size, and I work for a design place now, so it's easy for me to get more T-shirts. It's just we're running a limited number right now. So we're trying to make things happen, but yeah, we're definitely putting a majority of the proceeds to USARK, especially with everything happening nationwide. It's just
chaos.
It's absolutely it's not good. It's not good at all. So
you guys have any shows coming up your way that you're going to be vending also?
I think maybe just Maine. We're kind of taking a break from shows for right now. Just trying to get everything together. Getting animals that maybe
we'll see how many babies we hatch out.
Yeah, because right now, I mean, we're really just holding animals back, seeing how they develop and looking at what projects we want to pursue further. Obviously, we have some in mind, but we really like to keep our snakes for a while before we go and sell them.
The shows are kind of a lot of times people are like, "What kind of snake is that?" Well, it's not a ball python. Sorry, it's not a corn snake.
It is, and that's just how it is. We won't stop what we're doing for them, and we'll have some geckos, actually, some leopard geckos, but that's about it.
We might have to do shows for leopard geckos.
We might have to do shows for leopard geckos.
Those things are so easy to breed. It's just like you can breed them in your sleep. So,
but
except for my female wants to kill my male.
Ours aren't having that issue. She actually, we have 2 eggs in the incubator right now. And
I think you better check that. We have to check that again after the show here. I think she's going to drop some more eggs.
Yeah, I just moved her out.
Did you move her today already?
I did move her today, yeah. So, yeah, she's like dropping eggs. Like we just can't really catch up with that. I don't know why. I'm like, she has another 2 eggs. So
I don't know how many years ago I got some leopard geckos. I had like a whole colony of them. I don't know, 15 years ago or something. Didn't know anything about leopard geckos, and I was like, oh wow, I have just a shit ton of eggs and babies now. Just like,
Oh yeah, I mean we have some more. Again, we do have a couple ball pythons, but we don't have any clutches for them, and we're not really thinking that's going to be a
hybrid.
big. We're thinking like maybe
I
hybridized.
sign those things with
Yeah.
like bloods or something cool.
Yeah, we're not really big fans of ball pythons. I've had one forever that I was gifted.
If you like those snakes, that's awesome.
Yeah. They're super great. They are. Put
it in your pocket and just walk around, I guess.
We're just to the womas and carpet pythons, but we do have some amazing.
If we spend a day in a snake ring when someone's not bleeding, it was a bad day.
But grab a hold of Kevin, he'll take care of it.
So Ed and Sid, where can everybody find you at?
You can find us on Constrictors Northwest Facebook page, Constrictors Northwest Instagram, mainly Morelia Instagram, constrictorsnorthwest.com. I think that pretty much covers it all. You can find us anywhere. Just look up Constrictors Northwest.
That's awesome.
I have a Twitter account that hasn't been active for like 8 years. Might be fun.
We're not
still a thing.
We're not super
I don't know if it is or not.
Yeah, we're not super
I remember
active.
Trump had some mean tweets that people got really upset about, so I really don't care.
Yeah, we're not super active, unfortunately, right now, just due to the Yakutia Lycas we have, and those are puppies, and they're crazy. And then the clutches we have, and the snakes that we're taking care of, and just at this point, really focusing on
building log cabins.
Yeah, keeping them healthy. We're just really focusing on our animals right now, and less about social media. But we do post occasionally. We're probably going to get back into it.
We're still on there looking.
Once things
usually in the bathroom,
That's crazy.
Yeah, when we have an opportunity, but we certainly like chances like this where we can talk snakes, and it's been good.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it. For sure. And I'm gonna make the trip up. Me and the wife are gonna make the trip up and come see you guys up in Maine for sure summer. So
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Together.
That'd be awesome.
Yep.
So let us know when.
Hell yeah.
Better hurry
I
up.
will for sure.
Super remote area.
I'm gonna have to plan it out when that Xanthic hatches out. Hopefully she's not listening.
Yeah,
that's thank you guys.
Don't ask permission.
Just get it.
Just do it.
Just ask for forgiveness.
No,
that's what I always do.
Pete saw how that.
Just tell him you always had that snake. That's what it's like, what? This
you guys don't know Sam's wife very well, do you?
Yep, Pete knows her very well. She knows every in and out of what I got going on.
You ain't getting none past her.
Come on, it's a fake snake.
That's gonna work.
Works every time.
Take a dozen golf balls, put them in a tub, put them in an incubator, and just tell her you hatched it out.
And you had to keep looking the first clutch.
Yeah, only one hatched out, and here it is. I gotta keep it.
That's actually a good idea.
Yeah, it is.
So sorry.
We're the worst people to get together and into things, because we're like, oh yeah, no, we're just not gonna get one, we're just gonna get two. Because would you mind? It's gonna happen.
There's nobody to talk us out of it at this point.
Right.
It's like, do you think this is a good idea? And she's like, yes, it is. Let's get two of those.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
Hilarious.
I'm like, I'm gonna start a sled dog team. She's like, you should do that. That's a good idea. And I was like,
okay. Meanwhile, I wasn't being serious, but all right, I guess we're doing it.
Now we got all these sled
So-
dogs.
No, we have two. We had one like 2 weeks ago, so
Yeah.
we ended up with two.
Yeah, we ended up getting two instead of one.
Out of Texas. We're like, we're gonna
I
go
hope
pick
it's a
those
male
up.
and female because I kind of want one of those
It is.
puppies.
Oh yeah.
It
No,
is.
it is. Here we go. Here come the puppies.
Champ bloodlines.
Oh.
Both.
Great.
And
Great. Yeah.
Oh,
So
long run dogs. Yeah, we got all the good Russian sled dog teams in
They're
our pack now.
all Russian bloodlines.
And on top of that, we have a big like lump of a Turkmen alibi down here. He's like, oh, we got to keep them separated from the female. So now we can't be making Turkmen alibi and Yakuchans.
Oh.
That wouldn't be good. So it's interesting.
Oh,
We don't
that would
have
be
any regular
insane.
animals at
The
all.
size is
Yeah, seriously, I don't know if you've seen Aquila lately, but
better
he's
that
laying
way.
down. Yeah, he's come on, Ray. Hey, Aquila. He's such a lump. What? I don't know if you saw him when he was puppy.
He
What?
still has a puppy.
He's a year old.
That I want.
This
I
look
want
at the
him.
head on this dog.
Yeah,
Talk about
no.
dogs.
I definitely want him.
He looked like he was sleeping. He's like, "Why'd you guys wake me up?
He is
He
sleepy.
probably
What are you guys doing?"
Right. He's like, dude, what the hell?
as long as he doesn't fart right next to me now, that'll be good.
It's kinda gas.
Yeah, now he's gonna be like, "You guys want to wake me up? Here you go. Here's some remedy for you."
Crop
Exactly.
dusting.
Yeah.
So,
So that's why we've been
thank you
so
guys
busy.
again.
Yep, no problem.
Yep.
Thank you guys
Good stuff.
again, and thank you to everybody tuning in tonight. And we look forward to growing the militia some more. So, till next time, everybody, have a great night.
Hey, take care.
Thank you guys. Thanks again.
Yep,
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
you too.